Our next live English session will be on October 2nd with Devin Hase. Forget what topic she's joining us with, but they never fail to make our hearts sing a little bit every time the Hases join us. So please tune in on October 2nd. The Parkinson's Foundation provides weekly education and wellness programs virtually through PD Health at Home. This includes our Mindfulness Mondays, Wellness Wednesdays, Fitness Fridays, expert briefings, and our Spanish language programming, AP Salud en Casa. Join us for our next Wellness Wednesday this week on understanding mind and memory. Thinking changes, mental confusion, and altered behaviors can often occur in Parkinson's. These changes can be frustrating and challenging and often have a significant impact on quality of life for the person with Parkinson's and those close to them. With the focus on mid to late stage Parkinson's, understand what causes these changes, ways to manage them, and how to communicate concerns with family members and the care team. You can learn more and register for our PD Health at Home events at parkinson.org/pdhealth. And lastly, a reminder of our resources available to you online at parkinson.org and our helpline 1-800-4PD-INFO. You can also email us at helpline@parkinson.org. And now I'll welcome our facilitator, Nico, guiding us through a meditation on forgiveness today. Welcome, Nico.
Oh, hello. Good to see you all. It's very nice to be here with you and to see where you're calling in from. It's sort of sweet, just, all the different places where you might be all around the country and the world. And so I'm calling in from a van. Devin, my partner, and I, we live in a van. We travel all over the place teaching meditation to folks. We just finished teaching a retreat today about 2 hours ago, and now we're on our way to catch a ferry. We're in Maine somewhere on the side of the road, rural Maine, and there are goats. And there are goats and there are chickens on the side. There's this beautiful farm here, and hopefully nobody will come over and kick me off because we're just pulled over to the side of the road. So today we're going to talk about forgiveness, and I'll give a little brief introduction and then guide us through a meditation and try to leave just a little time at the end to have a conversation about what comes up for you in this meditation. So forgiveness. This is a big topic. It is often challenging for people to think about forgiveness. There's many of us who really wonder why we should forgive, and there are many of us who would like to forgive but don't know how. And just really briefly, it's easier to forgive others than myself. That is so common, isn't it? Yeah, so why to forgive? Just in one sentence. When we don't, we hold it in our bodies, in our hearts, and it drains us. And when we are able to forgive, it frees us, and it frees the energy that we can put toward other things in our lives. How to forgive is really this meditation practice that I'm going to offer today. And forgiveness, I would say, is a softening of the heart. You could call it an acceptance, but it's really it's almost like a somatic experience, like a body experience. It's the sense of I've been carrying something, either resentment toward another or blame toward myself, and I can release it. And when that happens, there's this moment where the body relaxes. And that's what I call forgiveness, that sense of release and relax, a coming into alignment with the way things were and the way things are. It's forgiveness. And we think of forgiveness in sort of 3 domains. So there's this asking for forgiveness from others. There's the forgiving ourselves, that's number 2. And then there's the offering forgiveness to others. So it's like there's 3 domains of forgiveness. Even if it's all internal, it doesn't necessarily mean we need to go out and do this, but asking for forgiveness from others forgiving ourselves, offering forgiveness. And today we're just going to settle into forgiving ourselves. Somebody already brought up this can be a really difficult process, a sense of forgiving ourselves. And during this meditation, I'll invite you to think of a specific situation or kind of situations that are a little bit mild. Maybe don't bring up the thing that you feel the most guilt about or the thing that you've done that's the most difficult for you, but just something that gives you a little something to work with. It's like, oh, it's a little hurtful that I did that. It's a little something that I have to work with because we're just training right now. We're just getting used to this particular meditation. And as we get used to it and we work with more mild pieces of forgiveness, of self-forgiveness, then very gradually we move into the more difficult territory and the more difficult territory until at some point we can include everything. But we don't start there. We start with something relatively easy to forgive, like, oh, I got snippy with my partner yesterday, or I was impatient with my grown children, or whatever it is. Just a little something that we feel we're holding on to that we could release. Sound good? Okay. So why don't we close our eyes if we feel comfortable, or just gently soften the gaze and feel ourselves in a posture where there's a sense of alertness and also ease. And we'll take a couple of deeper breaths together. Really feeling the breath as it moves into the body and feeling the breath as it moves out. Maybe one more deep breath. And then just allow the breath to find a natural rhythm and bring a warm awareness, a kind attention to your heart. If it's supportive for you, you might place your hand on your heart. Just sensing what is here, what is alive in this area of the heart in this moment today. This world of emotion, feeling, sensitivity. Yeah, how is it here? How is it? Not needing to make the heart any particular way, no demand that I have a better heart, a happier heart, a calmer heart. It's just knowing how is it now? How is the heart? And then from this space of allowing, from this space of just being with the heart exactly as it is, you might call up some small thing that you've done lately that wasn't quite in your integrity, wasn't quite the way you'd like to be. Could be one or two or three things that, oops, I was a little bit off balance there. What I said or what I did. Just sense, how is it? Do you feel that as you call up these images or memories? Can you feel that in your heart? What is it like to just go a little off balance, a little outside of how we want to be, how we wish to be? It's okay. It happens to all of us, but we feel it. Maybe taking a breath into that and letting it out. And then you might recite a really simple phrase for yourself. I'll give you a couple of options. You could just say to yourself, may I be forgiven? May I be forgiven? Or you might say to yourself, may I forgive myself? Yeah, there's so much humanness here, so much imperfection. May I forgive myself? Or sometimes just a single word like forgiven. And so just take a minute in silence and you might recite one of those, may I be forgiven, or may I forgive myself, or just the word forgiven, forgiven. As you feel what's happening in your own heart, your own body, just a minute in silence. And as we recite these words to ourselves, just forgiven, forgiven. See if there's any sense of a little bit of relaxation or release that you can feel. A putting down, a letting go of something you've been carrying. It's okay if it's not. Maybe it's not ready to let go right now. That's perfectly acceptable. There's no pressure here. And just sense in what's happening as I recite these words. May I be forgiven. May I forgive myself. It's not always easy. We'd like to be in our integrity at all times. We'd like to live up to our values at all times, but sometimes we slip. May I be forgiven. May I forgive myself. And now you could take a couple of deeper breaths again. Open your eyes, look around, stretch your body. Maybe roll your shoulders. Mm, wonderful. Good. So I wanted to leave some time here for conversation. Often when I teach forgiveness, it brings up a lot of emotions. Some people say things like, I don't really want to forgive. I don't really want to forgive myself because that maybe that means I'll do it again later. Or some people say, I'd like to forgive, but I don't know how. So there's a lot that comes up here. And I'm just curious, in that very brief meditation, that was only 6 minutes, what did you notice? You could just type it into chat, the good, the bad, the ugly. You can type it in for everyone to read if you want everyone to read it. If you just want me to read it, I'll read it out loud. You could direct message me, I'll read it out loud, but I won't say your name. Just what came up? What came up for you in that brief meditation on self forgiveness? So, would you agree that someone is writing to me, would you agree that forgiveness comes more easily with age? That's a good question. Someone else is saying sadness. Oh, another one. Release with tears. Resistance. Ooh, resistance. That's so common. Relaxed, learning to let go. Very emotional. It's very emotional. Guilt. It's relaxing. Yeah. See this wide range of experiences that we could have. And even each of us might have one kind of experience today. We could do the exact same meditation tomorrow and have a completely different kind of experience. One day we're feeling resistance to the forgiveness process. The next day it completely releases. Another day we feel very guilty. And this is how it is. This is how the heart, those sort of the weather patterns of the heart move through. Forgiveness seems easier with age. Some of the wisdom of age. Forgiveness seems easier. Kind of felt some anger. Yeah, good. It all comes up, right? It could be anger at myself. It could be anger at somebody else. It could be anger at the wider world. As we begin to do this process of forgiveness, it's not that we only feel this one thing. It's not that it's simple. We say, oh, now I will forgive. And then we forgive. It's say, we have this intention for forgiveness. And then we have this wide range of emotions that come up. Sometimes when we do forgiveness practice, it seems like the exact opposite of forgiveness is what actually arises in the heart and mind. And that's natural. That's part of the process. Another one saying, trying to forgive everyone, including me. Trying to forgive everyone, including me. That's beautiful. It's not easy, but it's worth it. There was a question here. Do you think that forgiveness gets easier with age? I do think so, in fact. I think forgiveness does become easier with age. If I look back at my early life experience, I started doing these kinds of meditation practices when I was a teenager. I had no perspective on the world, I had very little self-understanding. I had very little understanding of the wider world. I had very little kind of compassion for the ways people want to be, and then the ways that the habitual tendencies kind of run them around. So I think as we get older, as we have more and more data, life experience, as we have more and more data, we start to understand, it's not easy. It's not easy to be alive in this body. It's not easy to be alive with this heart, this sensitivity in a world that can sometimes feel very fast and very cruel. And so there's a sense, I think, as we age, if we're aware, there can be this sense of forgiving, softening toward life. Yeah, someone else saying yes, but with boundaries. And I'm really glad you're bringing that up. Boundaries with myself and boundaries with others. So, when I'm doing self-forgiveness practice, I often end with an intention. Like, yes, I was impatient with my beloved life partner today. I forgive myself. And let's work on that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that. I'm going to set an intention to develop patience. So it's not that when I forgive myself, I'm giving myself free rein to act any old way, even if it hurts somebody. It's that I'm forgiving myself so that I can integrate, so that I can come from a different place, so that I can act from a different place. Same with others. Forgiveness is not necessarily forgetting. And it's certainly not pretending that what they did was okay. There are actions in the world that are profoundly harmful. And we don't say that they're not. We don't say it's okay that you hurt me. It's not okay. Of course, it's not okay. And yet, we forgive so that we don't have to carry that hurt. And we forgive so that we can come from a different place. And so we can be somebody who's supportive for others. Yeah, forgiveness is out of sight, out of mind. A need daily practice of this. That's very good, right? So when we bring our attention to forgiveness, when we bring our attention to forgiveness, then the process really begins to move. When we forget about it, when we forget about forgiveness and we get busy and we do all the things that we do, for the process of forgiveness might not continue. So it's very helpful to bring awareness to forgiveness, to keep the process moving day by day, moment by moment. I lost the chat. Where did it go? Will you please forgive me for completely losing the chat on my iPad? I don't usually teach on my iPad. There it is. Whew. Forgiveness, the three domains again, absolutely. I'll offer you the three domains. The first domain is we're asking for forgiveness from others. Not necessarily that we're writing them a letter or we're calling them on the phone. They might not even be in our lives anymore. But just psychologically, in an internal way, we're asking for forgiveness. I did this. It wasn't in my full integrity. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Just in our own hearts. Now, if that's appropriate to write somebody a letter, if it seems like it could be healing for them or if it could be helpful, you might do that. But the way we're talking about this is mostly an internal process. Asking for forgiveness is the first domain. Second domain is what we did today, self-forgiveness. I forgive myself. May I forgive myself? Third domain, offering forgiveness to others who have hurt us. Nobody goes through life unscathed. All of us have been hurt. And nobody goes through life without hurting others. All of us hurt others. It's just what it means to be intimate. It's just what it means to be together in life. So, third domain is offering that forgiveness, understanding I have hurt others, you have hurt me, I offer my forgiveness. Those are the three domains: asking for forgiveness, self forgiveness, offering forgiveness. Seems to be a pragmatic approach to dealing with life's challenges. It seems to be a pragmatic approach. I think it is. I think this is a pragmatic approach to dealing with life's challenges because practically speaking, there's almost no way to make it through, let's say, a month or a year without some kind of hurt, without being hurt in some way, without hurting another in some way, or without doing something that you find painful for yourself. So this is a pragmatic way. Someone else is saying, this session has been profound for me today. It gives me a place to start. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you, Krista, for writing in those three domains. Yeah. So I'll close with this quote that Krista just wrote in from Maya Angelou, or she's just reminding me. Okay, so the story is that I had this great quote from Maya Angelou, And then right before this session, I couldn't find it. And now Krista is saving me, but I kind of blew it because now I'm telling you that she saved me. So this beautiful quote from Maya Angelou: forgiveness is one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves. Yeah. So I can see this for some of you, this has really brought up a lot. Please take good care of yourself. You know, take a hot bath, go for a walk, do whatever you need to do now to be with whatever's come up for you. This is a very intense topic sometimes. And may you be well. May this process that we've started here together, may it continue. Yeah. All right, my friends. Until next time.
Thanks, Nico. Nico shares these types of practices often can stir things up that live within you. So please allow yourself some space to feel whatever you may be feeling. And we will see you guys again on October 2nd with Nico's beloved Devin. We'll see you guys then. All right. Bye for now.